everybody, so excited. Thank you for joining me in another park session. We are so excited. So excited, so excited. I was just sitting down to channel and see what the teams wanted me to bring forward, and it's on one of my favorite topics, DNA and our biosphere. Everybody knows how much I love our beautiful planet Gaia. I've done many sacred excursions upon the planet, reactivating different parts of the land and taking in the information and wisdoms of the land. Those travels that I've been through and to have been recorded on our KCOR recordings. So that's on our YouTube channel. So feel free to go back. There's some pretty amazing stuff that we did. But today we're going to talk about, I was asking the councils, this is Joanna, by the way, early morning Ascension show. And we're at another park session, so excited. You can hear all the beautiful children and all the beautiful energy that's with us today. Had some wonderful light ship experiences the last couple of days because of this beautiful full moon. So I'm so excited, and I'm soaking in my beautiful divine feminine wisdoms and my beautiful divine feminine energy that I can feel being activated. I don't know if any of you can feel it, so put your comments down below on what you've been moving through since this profound full moon. How you felt yourself being challenged with deeper beliefs about who you are, what you exist within, and how you're able to expand those beliefs and who you are. How you're able to expand the knowingness of what spirit is, as we've been mentioning in many of our videos, to rewrite what you know God to be and have it to be as expansive and open as possible, to release its grip from dogma, if you will. And we're not saying in any way that there is no need for dogma, but what we're allowing ourselves to know is that spirit is in everything, in all things, in all places in between, seen and unseen. And the miracles that we each experience are the energies and the essence and the omnipresence that is spirit showing us and being with us on this beautiful sacred journey. It's so graceful, so elegant, so profound. And why I'm even here today is testament of that and all of the experiences that I've been through. And they're showing me that many, and it's always still unfolding because we're always evolving. As I've been moving through my experiences, it's challenging my beliefs about my hand and my space with God. The level of faith that I had in God then and now is completely different, knowing that I've been pulled through so many experiences with the knowingness and alliance with spirit, the alliance with light, which is the title of my fourth book, The Alliance with Light. And what that means to anybody that's moving through challenge. Part of my path and part of my experience is to offer inspiration, to offer empowerment and encouragement to those, knowing that they can work through the dark nights of the soul, the shadow energies, the wounding of the inner child, and anything else we move through as a collective that's been through steeped separation. And oftentimes those traumas are not necessary. If we're looking about how we've fed ourselves and how we've nourished ourselves, everything that we do as an action or a thought or a word or a deed is based on that inner experience. Those inner experiences will come forward and manifest because we're oscillating vessels, and we manifest what it is that we feel of ourselves within. So if there's chakras or if there's wounding on any level of our multidimensional beingness, then we're going to manifest that equal experience, whether it be lack or self-judgment or separation or jealousy or abandonment, whatever those issues are that are in your all experience. This is a top-down experience. All that you are is an operating vessel of light. Those triggers will come forward. And what faces you? So that you can say, yes, I own that. I can create with this now. How do I want to be now? How do I want to experience now? How do I want to express now? And those are the 3 E's of ascension. The soul in and of itself wants to have the experience of an abundant life, but what it takes with us into a next experience is not the money or the items or the vibrational ego materialism that we've all been taught is so important, and it's really not. We can't take the titles with us. We can't take any of those things that we think we need to feel important or value, because none of that really matters. The spirit and the soul move through ascension, move through change, move through awakening. To self-actualize is the exploration, the experience, and the expression of oneself new. In every moment, which is the joy of the Creator, is to offer us eternal support, whether it's genetic support, whether it's ecosystem support, whether it's your tribe support. When spirit sees you've been struggling for so long, as in my case, struggling so long to make ends meet, struggling for so long to have my voice heard and offered and shared and valued and appreciated. Spirit will do whatever it can and whatever it's capable, and in your alliance with light will make things happen and will bring things in and will remove blocks and will remove those that are putting blocks for you or to you. There's always that equal opportunity with spirit, with light, because you're creating it, you're observing it. You can observe, yes, I've had some challenges and some difficulty, but now I'm ready to step beyond that. I see that that was a belief. I see that that was a pattern, and I'm seeking some divine intervention to help me out here. And that will always be offered. You're meant to learn the lessons and then move on. That's what evolution is. Therefore, you're carrying that greater light, and then you're perceiving and observing and creating a greater reality. So that's why we need that catalyst of dichotomy. We always need that juxtaposition of what we were, what was, and how do we create new from this new sense of knowing. And that has always been our ability to entrain ourselves. The Arcturians gave me that from the divine sacred heart of who we are, which Jesus showed me many, many years ago through my divine relationship channel many, many years ago. What that means for the process of evolution and how we really evolve. It's a process. It's an alchemic process, and it begins with your consciousness. Your consciousness is who you know yourself to be as a sentient being within all life, as life is within you. Again, who are you? What do you exist within, and what exists within you? That's understanding yourself as a conscious being. And what people talk about when are you consciously aware? When you're consciously aware of your choices, you understand that there is an alchemic process. What you're putting out is absolutely what will return to you. What you're vibrating at is what those lessons are that are showing you. And because we're multidimensional beings, you're calling in those soul fragments, those soul wounds, those energies, because we're moving from a third dimension to a fifth dimension. Anything from third, fourth, and fifth dimensions that we're having to alchemize, which is 51%, Spirit said, we will meet you 50% of the way, but you need to alchemize 51% of those traumas and those choices that you've done. So know that you've learned the lessons, because once you get to 5D, you're creating through immediate intention. So we must learn the lessons of 3D, of 4D, of 5D. We must understand universal law. We must understand what it means to live in oneness, so that we're honoring and healing those wounds, so that we can carry ourselves in much greater integrous potentials. We will not be able to harmonize with a galactic and unified field of galactic worlds that are thousands, hundreds of thousands in the making, if we can't even work within our small billion community. And it's a grander perspective in the universe than we are on this one planet. So we must be able to live within the diversity and the uniqueness of our diversity, which very few of our world leaders at this point have shown. And that will be a topic that we will be connecting with as we ascend into greater equity systems, which will be a topic that we're going to talk about today. Everything in our collective experience, and so exciting because everybody plays a part. Everything that we're moving through as calling on the skills and the gifts of everyone. And when you feel those inertia and those inspirations to get involved or to do something or to share something, those are your exact equal gifts that Spirit is giving you to help be a part of social change. The social and collective change that's necessary in every aspect of our communities, especially within leadership. Many of the classes that I've offered in the past, in the webinars and the private sessions and vocational sessions, have been really about where are you now? How can we better align for the 5D grids? And how can you see beyond? One thing that the Star Councils, thank you Star Councils, that were showing me, and just clearing as I'm on planet Gaia, thank you Gaia. One thing that they were showing me was we're going to be tested in the next 6 months about how truly are we flexible and malleable in expansive intentions of becoming, meaning that our minds are still operating majority in a 3D, 4D experience, and we're dreaming and we're pressing higher and higher and higher. But again, as we've said in our last couple of videos, we have to be the beyond and be the unknown before it expands into a more momentous collaboration realm template. And as we said in many of our earlier videos about those of us that are crystalline children and code breakers, we're the ones pushing the boundaries of those malleable crystalline templates. We're the ones taking the energies from source, honoring the energies from source. We bring in those energies, bring in those codes, download and process those downloads, integrating the downloads and then sharing them, so that those in the collective that are gathered by those higher vibrational experiences They say, wow, I get that. And then their fields get activated, their density gets cleared, their intuitions are heightened, their intuitions are aligned with their higher self. So it is all a collaborative experience and effort of co-creation. And it's God with God. That's why those of us that are conduits understand when we channel and we work with God in the multidimensional way that we do, my body is a channel. My whole body is a channel. I channel with my hands. I channel with my what I hear in my galactic ears, what I see, what I know that I am in my third eye and my crown chakra. It's always changing multidimensionally. I have a multidimensional communication with all that is life. That's my gift. And it's been my gift for many, since I was a kid, obviously. But as I'm moving through ascension and I'm being activated, those gifts are going to change because the ecosystem changed, because the environment's changed, because all that I am is changing. It's a constant living story. You are a living story. Your body is a living story. Your DNA is a living story. It's not stagnant and set in one experience. And there will be many medical people and many scientists fight and argue that. But as Cryon has said in many of his channels, he's been talking about the DNA for many years, Lee Carroll, about the profundity of the DNA. And it's been a great excitement of mine. And what I've been channeling and what they've shown me is that the DNA is equal opportunity within all that spirit is. And spirit will ensure that you will have the support genetically, environmentally, as we so choose. Remember, anything is possible up to 51% of what we're willing to match it. And the other part is spirit. It's not always that way, but you understand what we're saying, that if we sit around and continue in a 3D experience, not pressing ourselves to believe in the unimaginable, to believe in the unknowable, then those informations and codes cannot be downloaded because the synaptic programs of the mind need to be stretched. They need to be pressed and broken through. And so that's how energy is. Energy is energy, and it's always going to create, it's always going to compile into new, higher vibrational experiences. We've got to press it out. We've got to press it out. We've got to press it out. Thought, word, deed. And that means that living in that 3D environment where things are very slow to manifest, and those, just as one example, because it's where I come from, many of us in this collective experience through the draconian wars and through the draconian energies and many of the draconian timelines that we're healing on a galactic, multi-galactic level, universal level, showing me universal because it has to do with the DNA. Much of those codes, as those within, okay, they're showing me this is multiverse because it's going on many realms, and many of what the spiritual warfares have really been about. The draconian timelines and the draconian wars have been about control and suppression. And so as each and every one of us play our part in it, contracted at the highest level of our soul agreements, you play the controller this time, I'll play the victim this time. We all go through that with everybody that we move through, because they go back eons, they go back planets, threads of realms, threads of dimensions. When you go through any experience in your life from small to big on any subject that is control, whether it's an abusive relationship, whether it's movement and not being allowed to move, or feeling that you can't be allowed to move, those are very subtle imprints that reside within your multidimensional bodies. It resides within aspects of your DNA. Those are threaded and those are incorporated from many of the timelines through which the galactic wars had also had suppression, deep suppression. And those aspects of suppression allowed you to feel and create that grand dichotomy. What does liberation mean? Because liberation is the unity of source as source. So if we're living not in unity of source, if we're living not in the essence of our spirit, then we will attract all that is suppressive and controlling and fear-based, because that's the contract that we chose. It's the imprint in our field that we must resolve. We must acknowledge it. We must account for it, and then we must fix it and heal it. Fixing it and healing it is acknowledging it, accepting it, and then transmuting it, and making the rights wrongs in your behaviors and your choices. And so in my case, in my situation, there was many draconian wars where control and suppression was profound. And we find that in many of the trafficking, the human trafficking, depending on whether it's on this planet or another planet. Trafficking is a huge example of control, using and manipulating one's choice or one's environment or one's movement is absolute control. And it's karmic on every level. It goes right against free will. Free will is the right, universal, spirited, and human right to move and evolve as one requires or wants to and desires to and expects to and excites to. One cannot keep another down. One cannot suppress another in any way, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or energetically. And those that try to, those that have those understandings and want to play that role and want to see others under their hand and thumb and under their movement of control and whatever it is that they want, whether it's energy or time or attention, those are wounds, again, that require healing. So what is it that the inner child is not receiving? What is it that the soul self, that the spirit self is not getting? Because any projection of the outer is going to come back in whatever way it needs to through the actions and the behaviors that one has created, and it will show itself very clearly. Why did I choose this? What was I lacking in myself? I didn't need to go out and force anything. I could have just received it from myself. But those are all the aspects of awakening and ascension. Not any one person in any group or any collective has the right to control another. And this is a lesson that's being learned throughout our entire galaxy. So this is why it feels so intense sometimes. This is why it comes with such intense stories. And we get enmeshed in these stories at a collective level. But we really just need to drop to our center and just say, okay, let that story go. I've learned from it. I will no longer be under anyone's control. I get to make my own choices. I get to move as I wish. And therefore, thus then I am that I am. And every time you move into any type of subjugatory story vibrationally with another, because you're still operating and there may be little fragments and residue of it there, but you can simply just clear it out and then allow that person to find their path with what they choose, but not absolutely wanting to or having to fix it for them or take it on for them, because you don't. Just because you know what that is about, that story is about vibrationally, doesn't mean that that's what that soul is requiring at that time. That soul may have to go through many more lessons about control to actually learn the lesson. So it's not for anybody to fix anything for anybody. We are here to simply inspire through our own experience, ignite through our own experience and expression to a new version of who we are. That's the expansive part. That's the fun part where we keep pressing out. And so today's topic, I wanted to give you a few of that because we're being asked to press. We're being asked to get excited and bust out. We're being asked excited to burst out of where we've been. Any type of thought program, any type of thought pattern, break it and train something new and train a higher belief pattern, train a higher belief knowing, and train your ability to be in symbiotic communication with Gaia, with all that is, because all it is spirit. Thank you, spirit. So that was just Mother, Father, God telling me, thank you for getting your excitement up for the communication with God, because God is so excited to communicate with you. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So as I've released a ton of density, my ability to communicate with God and everything that I'm able to communicate, I get so rich that I'm so excited. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm so excited to be me again. I'm so excited to be me again. So thank you very much. I am true living testament to the alliance with light and what that is able to co-create and do for you and with you, the eternal life and the youthfulness that we have, and the ability to tap into higher vibrational wisdoms and integrate it so that we can process and be the higher vibrational beings, being the unknown, to really press out into these higher vibrational energies and these higher vibrational resonances and call it down and begin. Because all things in our social reality, we're up. They showed me, I did this many years ago in the dentist chair, and there are 3 universes that we're working with right now. I'm just saying 3, but there's of course many more because it's a multiverse. And this is what God is showing me. This is our universe right now, and say we're operating here within a universal thread of vibration. And within the universal thread, it's broken down into galactic and semi-galactic, planetary, life systems, bodies, personal soul contracts. So these threads are coming from this higher universe and they're threading up. So we get these embraces of this universe's evolutionary thread, and we get to pull it in because I'm from other universes. And when I'm ready to learn something new, there are times, not all the time, but there are times where I can feel unique threads that I just can't explain. They're not from this universe. So I know that there's things going on that I don't have access to. But I'm shown and I'm told it's another universe. That's all I need to know. Because there are words we just can't put into words here. None of our words will equal what that feeling or that sensation is. It just won't. So we got to be okay with that part of our expansiveness. But then our vibrational energy goes down to this lower vibrational universe. We say lower, it's just how we're defining how harmonic entanglement works. Harmonic entanglement of God's source, all that is, threading infinite songs and infinite threads and infinite harmonies into a thread of experience. And every thread of experience is touched. Just like when we expand as a consciousness group, so do the life forms and the life systems within all our earth. Our earth is supporting us as we're supporting her. The more that we want to expand and press out, so too will she be offered the equal opportunity. Because remember, Spirit says, I'm going to match you. As you guys expand out into who you are as conscious beings, Gaia will be supported and all life forms are going to adjust. So our topic today is how, I just simply asked, how is our DNA connected to the biosphere? And how do we get expansive, how can we muse, ponder, and dream about our DNA connecting with our biosphere? Many of you that are connected with Gaia and are teachers of Gaia and are teachers and healers and are leaders, because we're going to be creating new systems that will protect and honor Gaia in great new ways, and why these beautiful crystalline children are coming up to support this and be these leaders of our planet and these beautiful ambassadors of Gaia and nature. And as I've said before, really think of your DNA as malleable and transformable based on how you are as the commandment of your own vessel, commandment of your own expressive expansiveness, how you're able to press out. Think of your DNA as this pressing out and calling in those higher vibrational energies to activate what is there, what can be there, and what can be shifted and changed. It's much more than that, and of course, much more intricate and precise than that. But everything within the omnipresent, anything that we think is matter, is spirit. There is an essence of spirit within it that bounces back to us. That is the quantum field of the all. Our energy, our quantum DNA, through incantation, through who we are as spirit, through our own interaction and engagement with spirit, absolutely has an effect. At commandment, we can offer light in. At commandment, we call light in. At commandment, we call forth who we are and what we are in the believing and knowingness of it. As we observe something, so too it is. So these are science and love and honor of all that is spirit in motion and entanglement on the unity, on that harmony, matching it. And so our DNA is absolutely coded to our voice. And it is proven in the healing process. And there will be many studies coming out in the near future of how that is so, how our voice and our knowingness and our entanglement and our engagement, how could it not be? How could our physical engagement with all that is spirit not be a part of it? So we're finding that more and more it becomes logical. Spirit is the spirit essence, and it's known throughout all and will be further studied and further validated, if you will. And how our physicality has been changing. Those that go through an awakening and those that go through the process of owning their goddess and God self will find more and more people complimenting on not only how they look, but how they feel and how their energy feels, because you're changing as a vessel and an essence. Just the other day, I had someone comment and come up to me about how glowing I looked, how radiant I looked, and they hadn't noticed that from me in months, in many, many months. And they were admiring the glow and the empowerment that I just exuded from my body and my vessel, because I was taking those energies on and I was loving it and accepting it and honoring it and valuing it, just allowing that acceptance to be me. And that's taken 53 years of, of taking on the energy of the rolled eyes and all of those things that we do when we're not accepted. But those were aspects of me that were not accepting myself, because in the process of awakening, we all get to accept ourselves brand new, radical acceptance. So however you think your offering is to the world. And I had a profound emotional experience this morning as I was watching this girl feel so happy that she was being able to share her gift, and she felt happy to just share the energy. That was her statement. I was just happy to bring the energy. That's what she said. And I just burst out into tears, because that one statement is why I've done what I've done. For me, everything is energy. And I've offered everything just from the purity of the excitement of God. That's energy. It's all God. And so when you offer it in that way, it's so pure and it's so genuine that you just end up finding that piece of yourself through that quantum entanglement. That piece was showing it back to me that too is my unique offering. And however I do it, I get so excited. And you know that that's the pure coding of spirit. That's how you're affected. That's how you understand that all is spirit. It's our personal human interaction that becomes spirited. And that's how we become a higher spirited collective, through those intimate sharings of who we are naturally and genuinely. And releasing all of the fears, if you will, about how others might react about your sharing, because that's really null and void, because they're in their own consciousness state. And you will simply just attract those that are ready for it. Just as right now, when I've released all those densities, as I said in my blog post this morning on Tumblr, I now am attracting people that want to hear from me and that seek me out to come and be in my energy and be in my presence and just to feel the miracle of spirit. And things that have been happening, when just in natural organic situations, and all of a sudden there's 2 or 3 people there and miracles occur. And so those things occur when you're in that love of you, the acceptance of you. And it's so nice now to kind of like feel it and get fun with it. I'm so excited to be me now. And not feel like I can only be me around certain people because they don't understand my energy, or they don't understand, my light language and how I activate and how I channel with my hands and how I channel with my body and how I'm interacting with Gaia and nature and the elements. I feel all of these things, and it just makes me so happy to share it, so that you can press out who you think you are, what you experience, and what that means for you within yourself in this grand field of spirit, because it's interacting with us if we want it to. And so my question was, how does the DNA connect into the biosphere, and what does that mean for us on this level? And my intention was, what can we see coming up, if you will, for human evolution and intention? And so here's the channel material. Altering your state of consciousness always comes first. And we know that. Your consciousness to seek, to want, to match God, your consciousness comes first, and then all else changes. As to when you're reaching higher vibrations, things will just manifest quicker, because you've released the density of what you thought you had to do, or what the ego was wanting, or what the ego was projecting as a competition, or what the ego is projecting as lack, and all the things that ego does, steeped in such limitation. And why many of these things are draconian based, because the draconian energies that we've all been coming from, they're very high vibrational draconians, mind you. It doesn't mean that that's kind of where they sit evolutionary, because they don't. That's what's going on in the galaxy as the galaxy is harmonizing into unity. The draconian timelines are harmonizing into unity. And so we're feeling it, we're sensing it at an earthly level, because we're Earth, right? But you still have that in your DNA. You still have those codes in your Akash, in your lineage to heal. And they come through in we see it in many of our global wars. Those are energies from other timelines and galaxies playing out. So as you choose to be, to observe, to investigate, to explore, and to discover, all that is new is coming to fruition. Just as your planet, they're talking about the collective on the planet, the planetary consciousness is calling for greater unity. There will be the bathing of the light that will equal it and match it. That's the calling of it. As a collective, our collective is calling for greater unity. Our collective is calling for answers for healing. Our collective is calling for greater, higher vibrational leadership. So therefore, the energies and the codes and those that will be activated, those that have had many timelines as leaders in other galaxies, moving through war, moving through transition. Like myself, I'm an ambassador of peace from many other galaxies and dimensions, moving through planets that have been through warring systems, coming together to make compromise and unity. I've had those experiences at a galactic level. So it's part of my pathwork on this realm to also activate and inspire unity. And that's just a part of I want to be involved, I want to help. So that's what we'll get to next, because that is a part of how you know where you're going to offer your gifts. How will your destiny play out, in a way, because nobody can ever direct that. That's a moment for moment living in God's space, living in your now moment. But you get the idea. What is my creative gift? How can I be involved in this beautiful planetary transaction that's never been experienced before in this level of ascension? So it's really, really exciting, as I keep saying. And so as your planet is bathed, as your consciousness is bathed, it will each show you and it will each inspire you in unique ways, in genuine ways. And why, again, competition and copying and mimicking and all that kind of stuff is just get thrown right out the window, because those are wounding of lack and lack of self, lack of creativity, lack of knowing yourself, lack of self-divine design. It's always about your lack of self. Anything to do with competition, anything to do with controlling another, it's always about lack of self. Because if you had a profound lack of self, if you had a profound self-love, those would not even be in your energy field. But those are the wounds that must be healed. And on the opposite end, you're going to attract those that really have a great sense of self, because those want to trigger those, and they each trigger each other. So that is required for evolution. You must have that dichotomy to evolve. You must see what you don't want to know what you want. And you must got to go through it. Those are the lessons. That's the karma and the dark night of the soul, is clearing out those densities and those experiences. So it will be a bathing of what is not. What is not held in unity will be bathed and it will be shown. So everything that's coming up that's not of integrity, all the corruptions and all the systems that are not held in integrity, that will be bathed and it will come up. It will come up to be healed. It will come up to be corrected, and it will come up to be rewritten. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that now. That's why they were saying to us, think beyond the beyond. How can you inspire higher vibrational wisdoms to fix and heal and correct some of these systems that were completely imbalanced and unjust and unfair? Because each of you will be involved in it in some way. It is playing out in your own personal lives. That's why I had play out what I did in my personal life, because I'm going to be helping inspire higher vibrational galactic integration of the galactic wisdoms that have gone through in other planets for this planet on Earth, and bringing down multiverse information so that this collective can move through a higher unified experience. Because if we had the information and the energies, we wouldn't have gone through war. So now we're reaching new vibrational realms. That platform of where we're all operating is now higher, because we've called in that multiverse thread of higher light from another universe. So now we're being offered, we're being inspired. How can you go beyond what you ever thought? How can you create the higher thought forms from those codes that we're downloading, from the codes that are in your field, from the codes that conduits like Joanna offer, so that you can start integrating and aligning your vocation so that it's aligned with higher vibrational templates. We've been talking about that for many, many months. And so it will show you and ignite the new potentials that you have, which will challenge your belief systems. So again, what are your belief systems and how can you push them and press them out and break those patterns? Because the higher you receive yourself in multi-dimensional expression, your belief system will change. Because not only will it be a question of you not accepting someone from a different religion, you're going to be having to accept someone that doesn't have a religion that looks completely different than you. And that's preparing ourselves for the galactic oneness. Okay. So your excitement to create and to know that anyone is an instrument. So we are all instruments of spirit. We're all instruments of the heavens. We're all instruments, and through our instrument of the vessel of light, we get to tap into and communicate with the Merkaba, which then communicates with the all. The Merkaba is our connection with the all, the innate, the motherboard is the connection with the all. That therefore integrates with the DNA, and the DNA then activates. It's a multidimensional communication system, far beyond what we can explain in one video. But everything is the all. Why would we be in a world where we can't communicate with it? It is not logical. Why would we be in a world where the plants are just a plant and they have no other life than just sitting there? That's illogical. It's illogical. They have an essence. They have a conscience. They have ascensions, energy, and they know what they're doing. And studies have been done in forests. I read a book recently about the communication of forests. Also forest bathing for our health and our wellness. So there's life there. There's intelligence there. And we have not given our planet credit. We have not given ourselves credit just because that's the programs that we were in on separation and limitation. And so envision yourself and see it, and allow your DNA to be all that it can be, because who is us? Who are we to put limits on our DNA? Like, we're not the makers of all that is spirit. We're the vessels, we're the instruments, and spirit is playing with us. We are the inspirators, we are the ignitors, we are the ones that bring that flash of light, that fire, to whatever is spirit. So whatever will be offered in its potential, and it can be offered in a myriad of ways. For remember, you will always be supported, but there must be integration, there must be utilization. Are you using the gifts? Are you integrating what's there? Are you learning the lessons you're right before you? Can you utilize what you've gone through? Can you see it from different perspectives? Because spirit will always inspire and allow those that are meant to be in certain positions. Spirit will want you to go through the infinite array of perspectives as possible. Just like spirit wants you to be prepared, because you're going to be dealing with multidimensional, galactic, celestial, all bodies on earth. And so you got to be prepared for that, and why you have to do the work. There's no easy fix. There's no fast pill. You have to, wanting to be a part of social transformation, profound planetary ascension, profound social collective ascension. You want to soak every moment for all it is and really tune in. Who am I communicating with? How can I attune? How can I call my gifts forward? Really get excited, because we're here as a multidimensional body that's going to be connecting with multidimensional multiverses and beings from multiverses. And that's what I find so amazing. Just as if a starfish utilizes its gift to grow out that arm, so too do we, but we've never given ourselves that permission or belief system that we have. And there's many channels that talk about our DNA allowing us to repair, the spinal cord injuries. We have and why those that have lost a limb feel the energy and the essence of their limb that is gone, because that limb is a part of the soul, of the spirit. It has the energy remembrance and imprint. And so it remembers itself there. So thus then, therefore, if that's the case, why can we not then program our body to create in such a way where it remembers itself all over again? All is spirit. Doesn't go away. Just like what you create through thought, word, and deed doesn't go away. There's an imprint, and it must be transmuted. And so all of those things are allowing us to press beyond, to think higher, to think more profoundly expansive in whatever ways that we can, to really call in those higher vibrational downloads, the integration of the downloads, processing the downloads. Can your body process greater light? Well, it can't if you're surrounding yourself in negativity and density. Your body can't process light if all you do is listen to harmful, hateful experiences or surround yourself with those people. You're only going to see and know what you see and know. And is your environment supporting you? Are you being supported? And why the Arcturians recently said, take yourself out of abusive situations, for one, because your body is a vessel. It's communicating at all moments. And if you're not keeping up with the light, you're doing it detriment. And nobody has the right to want you or ask you to compromise if it's an abusive situation or suppressive situation. No one has the right to take from you in a way that you're suppressing and compromising your path forward. That is who you are as an evolutionary being, just like the universe. No universe will be stuck or stagnant. Spirit wouldn't allow, because the all is connected. The all is the all. The all affects the all. And no one has that right. Not one group, not one body, not one person, regardless of what their agenda is. Can't be, won't be. So the DNA is not fixed unless you believe it to be. Great discoveries will be, again, because we're living in a multi-dimensional experience right now, you're going to have someone that's very steeped in 3D, and there's no judgment on any of it, because everybody needs to be where they need to be. They'll get what they need to get. And that's why those that are triggered by what I say and the light that I offer and the potential that I offer, they can choose to listen to a different channel. I don't care. Go listen to a different channel of what I say triggers you. They're not ready to hear what their offerings are. That's why you'll only be guided to what you're ready to hear and what you'll be connected with, because it's a vibrational offering. And you'll know a conduit when they're standing in front of you. They can talk unendingly on that topic, on any topic, because that's source spirit threading it to them. When I'm threading I'm threading and I'm doing my creational work with spirit and through the 12th dimensional creators. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Gaia. Again, you see, I just do it and they come in. The energies come in. That's channeling. That's the conduit being active in the environment. That's the conduit living in the life of spirit of God. And those that are activated to it, those that have those gifts, know it. They can feel it. They can sense it. When there's a healing to be done, they tune into the chakras. They tune into where the wounds are calling them, because it won't be like the rest of the energy. Just like when you have a piece of fabric that has a stain on it, it doesn't look like the rest of the fabric. That's what a density is. That's what a block is. That's what a dark entity is. And it can be seen. It can be felt. It doesn't look like the rest. It's non-harmonic. It stands out. It's like a lightning. It stands out. It's like blinking, blinking, blinking. Heal me, heal me, heal me. And so that's how each person can do their own healing every day. What needs to be called forward, and tune into it. Great discoveries will be as you seek it in your joyful hearts. Remember, it's all about joy. What am I really excited to share today? What can I share today, Spirit? What do you want to bring forward? And then those energies start entangling. It's all about alchemy. It's all about love. It's all about the essence of God. But being in that mindfulness of joy will bring you those energies of joy. Systems that function for your changing body as the environment programs of light. And each is paced, and remember, it's based on each person, because each person has a unique soul path, soul plan, soul lessons, soul people they want to connect with. Each path is going to be different, and each path is going to be unique. And so this, as a collective experience, our collective is seeking greater unity and oneness with our DNA, our greater unity and oneness with our own health, our greater unity and oneness with each other, greater unity and symbiotic entanglement with our planet, because there's so much information, intelligence that will help us heal, help us expand, help us create free resources that can be shared in fairness and in equity, which we're going to talk about. Trying to make this as quick as possible, so that's why I'm speaking, but it's also my energy with spirit. Thank you, Spirit. So remember, it's each individual pacing within the collective, and each will be ready for their own unique divine timing, because everyone is a genuine, authentic instrument. Everyone is a unique, authentic instrument, and every instrument will want different things, need different things, desire different things, and have different gifts. Each has unique experiences. Each has unique histories. Each has unique ability to process light, to integrate light. That's why it's impossible to ever compare yourself and compete where you don't compare. Not two people are the same. So you can't compete. There's no competition. That's the ego thing, wanting itself to be valued. But that can only come with you and God. That's why those are all the inner job. It's all inner job. And all of you know that. But that's for you to step up and be that inspirator and encourager, and know that they can heal their own lack of self. I believe you can heal your lack of self. I know you want to heal that. I know you want to heal your lack of knowing of who you are. So go in and start seeking it. I know that of you. Start sending those energies back, because it's not for you to fix. It's not for you to heal. You can't heal it. You could offer the space and the guidance, and it's up to them to do the work. There's no other way around it. Got to face it. So all will experience the earth, the desires for wellness, to the exact degree to which they choose to know, and the accountability for their own adjustments. So if one doesn't believe that their DNA is malleable or changeable, then they're not going to. Just like a healer can stand in front of someone, but if they don't know they can be healed or want to heal, they're not going to heal. It's not the healer's fault. That person is not chosen with pure intention to heal. That's why there's so many fad diets. If those wounds of lack of self, not loving thyself, not honoring thy body as light, there's no fad diet that's going to heal obesity. It's got to be healed from a multidimensional perspective. They've got to choose it from a multidimensional perspective. They've got to work through the issue. And that's absolutely healable and possible. Many of you that are excited to bring great justice to your healing collective are also working on other realms and cabinets of light and light evolution. So too, that you inspire growth, but not overstep the natural human and earthly progression too much. So there's been a lot of timelines, there's been a lot of galaxies, there's been a lot of beings in our galaxy that have misused and abused the DNA and genetics. And we've all been involved in them. And one of my favorite books, The Right Use of Will, I can't remember, Ceyenne, Ceyanne. She has 2 books on the right use of will. She has many more books, but she's channeled these books. Really incredible information about timelines that had abused genetics and how we abuse those experiences. And the fairies was an elemental collective that got abused in that experience. And why we're here to learn, again, why most of my experiences over the past 6 to 8 months was allowing my unique story to inspire others to discern the energies around you, to discern when dysfunctional patterns in families are being used and abused, where patterns and habits are compromising the evolution of those in your home, are compromising the happiness and the joy and the light in your home. Because as we all know, the environment can either be in support of growth or stagnancy, because all that is being offered affects the all. So if the heads of the household are not expanding and pressing out in evolution, then the children are being offered the equal light codes or not. And that comes right from a DNA level. I've said for many, many years now, because I've seen it. I've seen it in my house. When you go through a DNA activation, your kids shortly there will go through a DNA activation. Because you're challenging the energy and the patterns in that environment. You're changing those patterns in the environment. That's what makes us conduits and healers, because we change and we challenge the patterns. When those 2 opposing energies are challenged, that's what you call a trigger, because that trigger is going, I don't like your light. What is that challenging me with? And most people don't go within to ask that. They just end up challenging and throwing pain and projections. Whereas if they go within and heal that wound, they could then entangle and not be so triggered, because it then becomes an equal energy. And it becomes symbiotic, harmonious, not a projection of what is lacking of self. Then projecting it forward, I don't like you. You're projecting something I don't know. I don't like you. Don't change. So those are about the understandings about energy, alchemy. It's all energy. And so many of you will be excited to be a part of restoring justice for your healing collective. And the restoring